Important day here, everyone. Palantir announces date of third quarter right here on October 12th. And we know that that date is this morning. It's very different than our usual suspect of having after hours. As you can see here, they're going to do their webcast, discuss their results, 6 a.m. Mountain Time. As you can tell, it's going to be 7. Well, you can't tell from it now, but it'll be 7 a.m. for me Central Time out in Chicago. So, yeah, I'm excited to see this happening here. And for those who have just come upon the stream, this is your first time, or even, I doubt it's your first time seeing my channel if it's popping up. But, this is the first live stream pretty much ever, unless you ran into one of my random tests that I did publicly by accident. But, it happens. So I'll keep an eye on the chat. It's my first time doing this, so just make sure to let me know if anything goes wrong. If for some reason I play a video, if, audio sounds weird or something like that, or if the screen's not sharing or it's showing something different than expected. So, and I know it's a little bit early here, 6 a.m. right now Central Time for me. So they like to release earnings results a little bit earlier before, of course, they go through any, through their calls. They usually don't do it right at that time. So I just want to preemptively be up here. I don't know exactly when it'll be up. And, if you're looking for entertainment, not sure if that's going to be me. But, Amit is always great at covering Palantir, as well as Adam, who comes to mind, especially when it comes to earnings, Arnie, things like that. So I'm just going to warn you guys ahead of time. I'll probably just be covering the release itself, but not streaming the call, just so you guys know. And the big thing, too, is I still like to refine these things down into a smaller format, like my videos, my typical videos. So if you've seen them, but I'm assuming most of you have already, I really like to just get to the point. I'll expand a lot for certain things that I have maybe a little bit more experience on, like maybe the healthcare industry, just because I work in data there. However, I'm not complaining about anyone's content, of course. Everyone has their own style, and other people are also kind of tight to the point. But oh yeah, awesome, Michael. I saw you here. You're glad to help me test. Lucky I'm in the Philippines. Oh, you're in the Philippines. That is cool. Yeah, definitely the opposite time zone for you. And it's funny you bring that up. I'm just wondering, are you Filipino or anything of that sort? Because I am actually Filipino, but I'm Filipino American living in the States here in Chicago. So really cool and nice to have you on the stream, Michael. But yeah, like I was saying, I'll probably make a video later on as well, covering the earnings highlights as well as the call. But you can expect that, of course, after the call is done and some time. So, but yeah, it's a very early morning here for those who are just dropping by in the stream. So letting you know it's my first time here. Feel free to just talk in the chat, hang out. I know it's early morning, and just refreshing this page here to see what happens, but we'll look at other news as well. And I know I don't typically do that on my videos. It's a very niche channel, right? Everything Palantir, maybe a competitor, maybe a partnership or a customer I'll also cover in expansion to that. But a lot of it is really concentrated on that there. So, oh, from Ottawa. Okay. Yeah, definitely not too far from there, within the same state as well. Actually haven't been there myself. Actually, I'm just gonna look at that up on the map. Oh yeah, here we go. Oh yeah. Okay. So it's not as yeah, you're near the border actually with Iowa, not too far. But yeah, I'm out in Chicago here for people who don't know that information. I might have mentioned it a few times in videos. And I'm not one of those. I grew up actually in the suburbs, just so you guys know. So I'm not going to claim I'm a pure Chicagoan born and raised necessarily, but I do live in Chicago itself now. Actually, really, I'm not going to put my address. That'd be kind of funny, but definitely in the more of the known downtown region here for those who are wondering, and been living here at least the past decade. So, some people say I'm a Chicagoan, some not, but oh, Germany we got here. Thanks for stopping by, Inaki Fernandez. Spanish, but living in Germany. Yeah, I suspect that is something that happens frequently in Europe, right? Especially with more open borders and the ability to travel much more easily between countries. I'm not sure in the process of actually moving through and all that stuff, but great to have you guys stop by. It's so crazy. You guys are all across the world here, and it's 6:02 a.m. here on my screen in Chicago, and then we got people in Germany, the Philippines. Oh, Montreal here, Daniel. Great to have you here. Oh, Bugsy 2018, Germany, near Freiburg. Palantir owners can start and stay for the long. Oh my gosh, yeah. Bringing that up, if you've been an investor right when they became public through their DPO, I mean, just look up a Google chart. That is quite a wild ride. Yeah, everyone might be offloading shares or scooping up more throughout. But even if you're doing that, and even if you're just holding shares, that's a wild ride there. Just imagine your initial investment basically almost 4X's. And then, you could take advantage of those opportunities, right? Maybe get your cost bases back, things like that. And I guess this is actually a good time to bring up. I'm not necessarily trying to come off as like that an investing kind of advice guy. I do cover mostly the news here for Palantir. It's a lot here, but just trying to check out the chat some more here. Let's see. Australia, awesome. Thanks for stopping by, Matt. Oh, healthcare IT, Michael. Oh, that's unfortunate getting laid off there by 3M. Well, take advantage, right? You're traveling right now, being in the Philippines. And being Filipino myself, I've been to the Philippines a couple times. So it's an amazing country, amazing food, amazing culture. Everyone speaks English there. It's part of the schooling. So if you know the history about the Philippines being part of World War II, of course, changing hands with Japan and the United States, and that influence there. So it's very different than if you travel throughout certain parts of Asia as well. When is call starting, Robin? Okay, so the call itself, I think I have it open here. Their webcast for talking about earnings, I'm assuming 6 a.m. Mountain Time, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm in Central Time, 6 a.m. Usually they like to release the earnings highlights before, and I'd love to cover that. So I'm just refreshing their quarterly results page here, but I can also just go to their investor relations site as well when they release. But if for some reason it's not showing up for me and you guys want to point it out, just let me know. And if you hear my voice shaking, I don't know if it's because I'm nervous or if it's early in the morning here. Thank you for the congratulations. Florida here. This is crazy. Oh, San Salvador. I'm not sure where that is, but it doesn't sound like it's very close to Chicago. Daniel here. Awesome. Yeah, just that DPO, right? Starting at 10, flying all the way up, going below 10. That must have been quite a time to think about. Oh, my goodness. And then now we are today. Almost $15 pre-market. Oh, $16 pre-market. I haven't been watching this. There's a lot of interesting movement here beforehand. I'm not a trader, just a warning, guys. So I don't run technicals usually, and it's not really practical with my personal life, working throughout the day. More of a long-term investor, buy and hold. Maybe I'll take a look at the price in the middle of the day, but nothing like a trading station and doing anything of that sort there. Let's see the chat some more. Oh, Sweden. Yep. Great, Robin. 12 o'clock eating time, Bugsy. Wow. Is that 12 a.m.? That's really late. John Farah, Cranbourne, Sinkhole, Dorset, South UK. Okay. So you are in the UK. So that you're probably the reason why we have such an early morning call here. And I keep repeating it, but we're used to the after hours calls for Palantir. And when they did that announcement for early morning, I'm like, oh, that's different. I wonder why, earnings coming up. And yeah, we had a picture of Alex Karp. I also put that on my channel here. You guys get to see the inner workings of a YouTube channel. Oh, just did a post. Joe Lonsdale actually did an interview. We can probably cover that in the meantime while we wait. But yesterday, yep, here we go. I'm forgetting his name, but basically he's in the UK, Safety Summit happening right now. I'd say it's important stuff. Not widely covered yet. I've still got to look to see if information comes out regarding that. I like to stay on top of that stuff, make sure that we're, getting all the information that's needed, because with these kind of conferences, they're pretty interesting in regards to what is agreed upon, different perspectives from, certain countries, even if we're all Western countries per se. Like, just the inclusion of China is very, it could be iffy. And we know where Palantir stands. And Alex Karp stands. He did in the interview, I think, with the BBC. They touched on it near the end, but if it was up to him, why invite them at this point? We already know they're going to be developing AI. I mean, and I'm letting my biases through, and it's not about the Chinese people, of course. This is about China, the way they run the government, and of course, they have a different value set than the West, and I've grown up in the West, so hence my biases. But yeah, internal surveillance is a big thing. They have these digital, you could say it's almost like digital twins for their citizens, where they have scores. And, maybe if they're going to use it to predict behavior, prevent crime, that'll be an interesting take on how AI could be used. So the crime aspect would overlap with how the West and counterterrorism already uses this kind of stuff. But I don't know. It's a complicated world out there, and the Safety Summit may or may not have a strong influence there. It's just something that has to play out. Let's see here. Back to the chat. Oh, David, yep, gap profitable fourth consecutive quarter, 3 cents. Oh. Is that what it is, or is that your prediction? Let's see here. Oh, I'm just refreshing a random page. Okay. Oh, yeah. Thank you, David. Also, smash that like button. Oh, Kiev. This is awesome here. So, one of my first channel members, and I'm sorry, guys, especially to my channel members, I haven't been doing channel member only posts and the likes with that kind of benefits there, especially with that generous support there. I do it about $5 a month, and honestly, I'm not the best at it, but we got a very dedicated channel member here in the chat from Kiev. I'm not sure how to say your username or if it stands for something, but always appreciate your support here. Oh, and we got Steven, Vancouver, Canada. Just over 11,000. Dang, 150. Okay. Now that would be quite a time. What is that, like a $300 billion market cap or something? I think the outstanding shares last is, well, let's do backwards math. 32, yeah, roughly 2 billion market cap, or yeah, 2 billion market cap per share, a little bit over. But yeah, if I see you guys at 150, that'd be crazy. And that would probably be a wild ride if we got there super quickly with, honestly, and this is probably leaking through like my view on all this long term for Palantir, right? 150, $300 billion market cap, to justify that valuation would be quite something. Now, revenue, one thing. Now, the growth of customers, depending on how nice the market is, what kind of multiple they want to give it. Well, actually, looking at this chart right now here, well, let's just say given that the amount of shares outstanding was different at the time, but still, right? We were mid-30s, and the financials were quite different back in 2021. This is way before GAAP profitability. Revenue was much lower. Oh, Central America here. Thank you. Oh, pre-market. Yeah, pre-market above 16. That's interesting, like I said. Oh, my goodness. It is flying in pre-market. Am I missing something? It feels like I should be seeing something here. All right. Oh, looks like we got 38 people in the live stream. I did no planning whatsoever. Last night, I stayed up thinking about it, trying to sleep. So my eyes were closed, but my brain was up because I've never done a live stream. So I was like, do I get up now at like 2 a.m. and just try to figure this out so I'm confident in how this works? Or will I just get up? kind of right before, figure it out. If it works, I'll continue. If not, I won't. But yeah, thanks to Michael also early in the chat confirming that chat's working, audio's working. I have no idea. And if you guys saw my setup, it's quite simple. So one laptop, one microphone. I got my phone on the side here for the chat because I'm not able to figure that out without opening my OBS, without seeing you guys here. So yeah, you guys are on camera. You guys are famous. Ooh, glad I have that. But if I go to my live stream, all I see is myself. So maybe I will figure this out eventually. But this is much more pleasant and fun than I thought here, interacting with you guys. This is really cool. So yeah, where did I stop off at? Actually, if you guys see the chat open, but I'll have it also on screen here. Yeah, so 16 pre-market crazy. Top news. Yeah, I really try to cover. So I work remote, so that's a big factor in this, and I'm able to, let's just keep this between us, right? Even though this is public and stream, but working remote, there's certain perks to it where if you can find the time, deadlines aren't as crazy. Technically, I can do a little bit of stuff during the day. Let's call it lunch, right? Let's call it lunch at 9:30 a.m. or lunch at 2 p.m., right? I know not everyone has that luxury there, so I'm definitely not trying to show off, right? But oh my gosh, that's cool. Oh, email from Palantir. I gotcha. Inside scoop. Good to hear it, David. I'm trying to remember all these things happening at the same time because, oh, this is cool. Next Tesla or Amazon? I would hope so. In terms of valuation, right? Businesses are, very different. Well, Tesla as a software company, right? And I don't cover these other companies, so I know that you guys don't necessarily know exactly my thoughts on these and stuff. And I feel like I'm not the most prepared or have due diligence on all these companies, right? It's a lot covering even just one company, especially one like Palantir. But valuation wise, that'd be amazing to hit more than $1 trillion with Palantir, right? The practicalities of it happening, that's another story, and we all know that. But Tesla, I think maybe Tesla might be an okay equivalent. Of course, everyone knows they sell cars, the hardware part, but the product itself, right? It's going to be like Apple, where they've switched over time from phones, and the real money generator now and what they are going to try to maximize from into the future. Of course, they want to sell more phones, more people on the platform, but those services, right? Subscriptions, recurring revenue, things that are scalable without needing to rely on manufacturing per se. And that was a big point on Joe Lonsdale's interview too. They asked him specifically about, sorry, I'm just clicking around here, but they asked him specifically about China and AI and that transition to Apple's earnings and what he thinks. So, as a good interviewee and someone used to the public limelight, he knows not to say, oh, this is what's going to happen exactly with earnings, right? He talked about the, how are they going to transition from China if they're going to transition their manufacturing? We can see, I'm not sure how old you guys are. I'm not dating myself per se, but seeing how the world has changed is much different, right? I was a kid. I wasn't necessarily like a young baby. So I was able to remember September 11. That was a chaotic time. United States invading Iraq, which now, not trying to get into the politics here with George W. Bush at the time, but, with more information over time, we all know there's a lot of things at play there. It wasn't, honestly, well, let's just move on from that. There's a lot of history there, and of course that would be in the Middle East region. Now we're talking about Israel and Hamas as well, and then Russia and Ukraine. So a more disjointed world like this, it's really interesting to see. And then having an opportunity to be invested in Palantir at this point in time in history, I'm not sure where I'm going with that, but all of this is really big for the company as well. And I think this might be tying back to the question with, earnings out here. Okay, I am rambling. Let's do this, actually. Oh, like second monitor. Yeah, I know. I need to get a second monitor, guys. I got to do it. I could plug it into a TV, but I will be better prepared for you guys next time I do a live stream. But let's do this, guys. Hold Hopefully it's actually refreshed for me. Q3. Oh, that is beautiful. 11/2/2023. Fresh new earnings. The webcast link. Wait, am I not understanding this? Okay, so this is here. And I do got to give you guys a word of warning. I do have to dog sit and get up. So most likely I'll only be able to cover this, the earnings itself. Let's see. Did I miss something here? This will tumble and crumble. Hey, you never know. What's the reasons that do? Yeah, we got this. Fourth consecutive quarter gap. Third quarter was 1 cent. Fourth quarter is 3 cents. 50 here. Wow. Sorry if I'm just sitting here silently. Okay, they got the webcast link up. Fortunately, I don't see the earnings release here. So if I'm missing it, just let me know in the chat, guys. This is really cool. Plus 13%. Yeah, let's look back at that. There is a lot going on pre-market. I'm not sure. Maybe someone has the information before us. Wow, $17 basically. What is happening? Who sold covered calls? I'm not sure if someone sold covered calls. I didn't do it. I'm not crazy. I mean, who knows, right? If you thought it was going to drop, if you sold covered calls, well, be happy with your guaranteed premium. Well, in that case, looks like you're going to sell your shares for less, depending on your strike price, right? I'm not sure how many of you guys do options. I don't really talk about it too much on the channel, but this is exciting stuff if you don't have covered calls sold. Just saying. If earnings are more than okay, it might explode. I mean, with zero earnings out, this thing is exploding, which is funny already on its own. I have no idea. I'm not going to claim to know exactly what's going to happen in the market. I mean, a move like this, 13%. Let's see. Yeah, 13.1. I don't have the live price movement too, guys. I'm not a fancy person. So if you see my videos, I usually take a screenshot of this stuff here. For my all intents and purposes as a long-term investor, someone who doesn't trade, this is good enough here, right? I'm not going to see those intraday movements and those candlesticks. Man, that's funny here. All right. Oh, just showing my life here, but actually we can do a quick refresh. Let's see. So NASDAQ futures, yeah, healthy 0.82%. Let's see the chat a little bit more here. This is so fun. Maybe it's the first time I'm doing it. That's why it's so fun. Like maybe it'll become a job or something like that. But this is crazy talking to you guys live, not just through comments. We got 50 people on the live stream. Is it because I'm faceless and you guys think that I'm going to show my face? Should I just like put a picture here? Maybe a doppelganger? No. Let's see. Let's continue to be patient. Yeah, patience. Let's wait. And honestly, if there's no fundamental change in their business, this is why patience is important for investing. If you've done your homework, you see the qualitative aspects of a company, maybe the quantitative parts, let's say, customer growth. Customer growth is kind of important to me right now, especially with the amount of time that's passed since the first AIPCon, as well as, we've had some time with the second AIPCon, the announcement of AIPCon boot camps, and we should be seeing some sort of tick or bump. And that's my opinion, of course. Palantir to Gulag. Oh, no. I don't know if that's good or bad. Never dealt with calls, nor do I know how they work. All for long-term holds. I've got 1,300 shares. Yeah. I mean, honestly, if you want to make your life simpler, you don't necessarily need to use options ever in your life. And I'm speaking my own personal opinion here, and it's not investing advice, but for most everyday normal people, calls and puts, they add that extra element of timing, right? So you have to figure out your strike price too, but there's an expiration, right? And you're selling a covered call. You might be right in the long term of the direction of the price not going above, but if it spikes maybe just that Friday and comes back down on Monday, it would suck, right? Well, actually, I guess that's okay because you sell your shares at the higher price. Oh no, sorry. Um, no, if you sold covered calls, sorry, and the price goes above that, you lose your shares, and then on Monday, well, actually, the easiest thing to show. Love to use other people's work here, right, to show you how options work. And this did not intend to become some sort of tutorial here. I know I'm kind of ranting. I'm just waiting for these Palantir earnings to come out. We just got the webcast link. Just for those who joined us, we got 54. This is crazy. This is a lot of people. If you have an auditorium, just imagine you're in school in an auditorium. 50 people listening to a guy here talking about one company. I mean, think about like Amit, and you guys have seen me in his chat too. Amit, Adam, Arnie, once in a while. Like, there's a lot of people that want to listen to this stuff, and of course interact too. This is the chat. Now, bringing people on, I still got to figure out all this kind of technical stuff. This is the first time this morning, maybe 5:30 a.m. I was testing this out, trying to figure out the live stream, and thank God I have OBS for recording my screen. I've never used it to broadcast or stream. This is my first stream ever. I don't do game streaming and stuff like that. Although I do, if you guys have seen my desktop, I do have a League of Legends. Oh, actually, I'll talk about Microsoft Paint after, but what is this? This is my downloader for videos. I just thought of something. Ooh, there. League of Legends. So let me know in the chat if you guys play and are toxic. Honestly, it's still on my computer. I haven't played in a while, but it's a great time if you have friends. Like, playing by yourself, I don't know what you're doing unless you're like super good and trying to rank up and make sure you're better than other people at this specific game. But I forgot why I'm going over here. But yeah, let's just keep seeing the chat. Yeah, people are making a lot of money on calls today. Let's look at that pre-market. The fancy pre-market I got here, 16.883. Okay, we can't go up forever, but oh my goodness, that's just crazy though. $1.91 up in the pre-market before we know exactly what's happening, unless someone knows. That's the thing, and you never really know who's got the edge in Wall Street. I'm just a lowly guy sitting on one laptop, owning some shares. I do dabble in options. I will say that. Maybe covered call once or twice, depending on the opportunity. And maybe this is a very controversial thing to say as someone who makes Palantir content. But, on occasion, I would buy puts. Just saying. Buying puts. And obviously, it's not a pure position of just want the company to go down. It's a hedge, right? If you own shares, you want the price to go up. But if you have puts and you buy puts, so puts are the right to the right to sell a stock at a given price. And, there's timing aspects of that. So you have your expiration date. But just remember, puts are the right to sell and calls are the right to buy. And if you're buying that contract, so if you're buying a contract to sell, yeah, you want to be able to sell that at as highest price as possible. So the price of the put contract will go up if the price of the stock is low, because now you have a right to sell the stock maybe not super, but higher than the price, depending on the strike you pick, and that's what makes it valuable. And then the call is the opposite way. If the price, oh my gosh, what? Did I just say that backwards? Yeah. No, sorry. You want the price to fall with puts, yeah. For some reason, I was getting ahead of my brain. But for calls, you want the price to go up because you have a right to buy it at a lower price, given that the price has gone above the strike price. So that's where the money's made, and I don't talk about that there. And like I said, I don't necessarily think regular everyday investors need to get into options there. Let me get back to the chat just to see I don't miss anything. Covered calls, try to roll them up and out. Oof. Depending on your strike, right? And I'll just put this here. Yeah, 1673, so that's fine. 44 people in the chat. Yeah, we got 44 people. This is big. let's see. Progress on customer count. Yes, I'm the same here with you. Obviously, it'd be nice to get actual higher growth rates in revenue. But customer counts is the proxy, in my opinion, because customers are counted when they are truly a customer. So it's not as simple as like, oh, we're going to do a trial for free and that's it. They won't be counting that there. And there's a little blurb in the presentation that shows that. Adjusted for cash, 25% margin, cash, 3.3 billion. Sitting on so much cash there. Outlook for Q4 2023. Expect revenue. Okay, seeking alpha. Let's just do that for now. Just one more refresh. Okay, let's do that. Alpha. I do not have. Okay, so it looks like they got the headlines here, and I do not have a subscription. But let's look at this. Palantir Technologies beats Q3 top and bottom line estimates, initiates Q4, and raises full year 2023 outlook. Now, for reference, I love references because you want to actually look at what they did and make sure the numbers are not right. So if you go to like Yahoo, for example, things are not necessarily accurate all the time here. So remember this, they beat Q3 top line, so revenue, and bottom line estimates. So what were those estimates? Where's guidance? Here we go, for Q3. Okay, so if they beat this, then they got more than 557, right? Or top and bottom. Yeah, they beat that. Q3 EPS, 7 cents, non-GAAP. Just remember that. There's a difference there. GAAP profitability is the big one there for S&P eligibility. Now, revenue, 558. Oof. We are right above that. Now, it's not the biggest quarter-over-quarter growth rate, right? So let's plug that into a simple calculator here. 558. And then all we need to see is the Q3 equivalent. Oh, well, let's see this. I know I should have this number by the top of off the top of my head here, but Q3 2022 earnings, 478 million. Okay, let's see what that growth rate is, quarter over quarter. 16.7, so better than 13%. Let's go back here. And I'm switching around. I know I'm not trying to make you guys dizzy here, but this is from Q2 earnings. So last quarter, Q2, 13% year-over-year growth, right? And I know I should have these off the top of my head. Sorry, guys. But so this is an inflection point of quarter-over-quarter year growth. And the way that works, remember, the baseline is always, well, the assumption is that you want that. The baseline is always moving up. So it's harder and harder to get, if you keep it constant, right, you're still growing your amount nominally of revenue faster. However, on a percentage basis, it's harder to actually get that percentage up. Now, for a company like Palantir and the valuation, now it's no secret here, but growing at 13%, that is a red flag for a lot of people. Now, there's a lot of qualitative stuff happening. We know the AIP boot camps, everything talked up by management. We know that. And to see this inflection here is important. 16.7. I know people are talking about 20% and above for revenue. And honestly, if you want to concentrate on a metric for a growth company, besides being cash flow positive and not going to go bankrupt and stuff like that, and I love Palantir for that, but if your sales are not growing, then what do you have for you? Now let's keep looking at here. I know I'm spending so much time on just this single metric here, and I haven't been looking at the chat, so let's see. I always set my strike price above my cost. So yeah, of course here I do not want to sell my shares below that. Good fundamentals, keep it up. Thank you so much. You know, I'm not in finance, but I did take business. So I love reading. Maybe I'm a nerd, but I love reading financial statements. I love balance sheets and cash flow statements. Net income, whatever. You know, let me know in the chat what your favorite. Oh, am I missing this? Let's see. Gap profit. Oh, sorry, 3 cents. Yeah, sorry. I am trying to. Maybe it's my biases against gap profitability, but 3 cents is much crazier than I would expect for Palantir. First of all, it's not needed. I'm going to be biased. I don't think gap profitability is needed besides the 1 cent eke out. But yeah, where is it saying that here? Wait. Am I missing it? Yeah, profitable 3 cents. Cash 3.3 billion. Excellent. Yeah, adjusted cash operation 133. Positive. Love that. Sorry, David. I don't know if I'm being silly here. Where's the 3 cents? Am I just blind? Q3 non-gap 7 cent. Or is it on another article? Sorry, that might be it. Please bear with me here. Let's do this. A quick Google search, always great. Do this. Sorry, David. For some reason, am I missing 3 cents? If someone's able to point it out to me. Oh, via investor relations. Did they send it out? Let's do this. Let's get out of the website. Trial and error here, right, guys? Let's just do this. Oh, wait. What? No. Via investor relations. We are investor relations. If someone has a link, maybe that would be immensely helpful for me. Why is this still not out? I guess they really want to get it right before the highlights. Let's do this. Let's cheat a little bit. Remember, if someone's doing something, they must be doing it right. Let's see. Amit is probably the best example here. If he's already covering something in regards to earnings. Oh my God, we got the whole gang here. I know I'm camera shy, guys, but if I play this on here.
Lately, one way I've been able to help keep.
Sorry, let's lower that for a second.
Better health after graduating college and now being a young adult.
Versus trying to.
Oh yeah, that would be amazing. A snapshot and post. They're not looking at anything yet, but let's cheat a little bit here. I'm not trying to steal any viewers, so if you guys want to go over here, honestly, I understand. We got 4 great folks here who cover Palantir, and I'm just a shy guy, right? First live stream, but a lot of net interest. Amit missed my super chat. Oh no. Share buybacks and around S&P.
If the opportunity arises. This is something I did.
Okay, maybe not yet. When they have it on the screen, for sure. Let's do this. It's a little hack. It's called copying other people's homework. Once they have it up here, I know for sure I should have it. Thank you so much, though, David. That's great. So once we see that 3 cents, that's higher than expected. 3 cents is a lot, I think, and you know that equates to millions of dollars, right? Over 2 billion shares. So yeah, but the valuation, remember, right? If we're valued at, well, let's actually look at where we're at pre-market here. Awesome refresh on Google, 1675. So some stabilization here, up 12% pre-market. Someone knows something with this, or maybe it's just darn excitement for everybody. But let's go back to Seeking Alpha. Look at the other highlights. Remember, I already talked about non-GAAP EPS here, not really significant. But the revenue, we are back at 16%. Last quarter was 13%. So that's an inflection, and we want that trend to continue in the upwards direction. So, but that can be difficult if you're not actually growing because the baseline gets higher, assuming that you've been growing in the previous year. Now, cash from operations. I love cash from operations. This basically means you can survive. If you can make money from your business, from operations, you don't need to raise money. You don't need to dilute shareholders much more. Now, albeit this is propped up, we all know, stock-based compensation. And I've brought this up in my previous videos here. Let's see. Sorry. Do you have a forward to email here? I do not have a public email, actually. Let's see. Sorry if I'm breaking my train of thought here. Okay, I'm just waiting until they show it up here. But yeah, cash from operations. I'm not sure how familiar everyone is with accounting and the reports there, but people like looking at net income. It's cool and all, especially on the revenue aspect. But cash truly shows you where the business is bringing in money, right? Are they selling shares? Are they raising debt? Operations, is it good? And we know that it's being propped up by SBC for Palantir. But we know that their business is cash flow positive and they make money from their business. They can go on forever as long as things stay the same, right? And that's not ideal at all, staying the same. But, best character here. Yeah. I don't know who you guys play for Mario here. I'm just looking at the chat randomly, but yeah, that's cash flow from operations. We'll get the details too once the PR is out. And I'm just refreshing this. Okay. Now adjusted free cash flow here. This is with adjustments. Cash and cash equivalents, $3.3 billion, and this is also inclusive of their short-term U.S. Treasury securities. So if we just go to the last earnings report here, Control Find is my friend. Treasury. 3.1. So we know that their cash pile, as well as with their short-term treasuries, is $3.3 billion now. So that's great. You know, if your company's just piling up cash, it means flexibility. Now, this is where a lot of people can get kind of iffy on a company, growth companies, if they're sitting on too much cash. Now, with rates the way they are, yields, that means your risk-free return is higher. So that means it's harder to beat out that. Now, I'm not saying, so if you're confident in your business, if you invest in personnel, SG&A, sales, things like that, where you know you get better than, let's say, 5%, then yeah, it's still worth it. But the margin of error is much smaller here, meaning that if things go wrong, then why are you wasting cash in an environment where holding cash is encouraged? And you know that's also the point of what Jerome Powell's trying to do, right? Hold on to your cash, guys. The economy's too hot. Everyone's got jobs. Everyone's spending money. So, and that's going to affect interest rates even more. So I'm not saying that that's just the whole macro scale here, and we're talking about one single company of Palantir. But let's see. This is still pre-market, right? Yeah, pre-market, 8:30 a.m. For at least Chicago people. That's when you will have the market live, and earnings come out 7 a.m. Let's just refresh this. I know I keep doing it, but for those who have just joined us, we got 43 people in the chat. This is so lit. We got 6 a.m. Mountain Time, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. We know management is, well, Alex Karp is in the UK. So for him, it's, I think, the afternoon or noonish time. So yeah, I really thought I was going to get 7 a.m. see the full report here, or at least the highlights. It should happen any second. Let's go back to our cheat sheet. Oh, Business Wire. Okay, this might be a better source. See, this is why we use cheat sheets. Business Wire, Palantir earnings. Okay. David, thank you so much for your patience. This is the headline. 3 cents gap EPS. That's huge. 4th consecutive quarter here. They are now eligible for S&P inclusion. Remember, though, this does not mean they're going to go in tomorrow, right? There's going to be a process to it. And this is only possible because recently they're allowing F-share class companies like Palantir. And if you read articles, they bring up like Snapchat or something. But basically that bucket of companies here where founders have control. You know, I can see why that was a rule previously. They wanted to have companies that actual shareholders outside of management can take control of the company. That's the purpose of owning stock. You want to have a share of the business and also have some sort of decision making in that. If you're F share, it really doesn't matter. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in here. We got 3 cents gap profitability here. That's big. Now, I was looking at Seeking Alpha, but it looks like we got a little bit more detail here. Let's just double check. Gap net income, $72 million. Honestly, this is still negligible for me, for a growth investor, and this kind of investment specifically of Palantir. I just want 1 cent per share, or just whatever is manageable. They don't need to go out of the way to maximize this per se. That's not the narrative that needs to happen. It's about top line growth. And obviously, if that's not being achieved now, we want to see customer counts growing. Now, income from operations, making sure this is happening. 7% margin, third quarter, consecutive gap. Operating profitability, yes, operating profit. This is nice to see. Now, if we all remember, fourth quarter 2022, and sorry I don't have all these amazing visuals for you guys, but just talking, Japan, step-up basis. That helped, right? That started the boat here, and the narrative on gap profitability. Might as well get it consecutively, get S&P inclusion. But operating profitability, that's important to achieve and to sustain. Now, if you're actually gap profitable through operations, you have a business that works. And for growth companies, sometimes this takes a long time to happen. Even cash flow too. You just burn money, but you just want to maximize top line growth. Now, oh, you see it? It came up. Let's double check. Please. Oh, appreciate the thanks, Todd. Yes, I don't know what compelled me to live stream today, but I'm just refreshing here like a monster. Back to our cheat sheet. Oh, means that there's nothing to show. Love those guys. And I totally understand if you guys want to stop by there too. I don't know why I'm promoting something else, right? That's against my self-interest, whatever. But this is cool, right? They're covering this, and this is how I found the Business Wire article. So I'm just adding my own thoughts here. Not sure if you guys like it or don't, but that's just, what I like. 17%. Yes, this was the other big narrative that we saw on Seeking Alpha here. I just that quick back of the hand calculation. 558 million, that's above the 557 top line guidance for revenue. So they beat their guidance. And then on my other video here, I'm not going to play it, but I don't want to open my channel. It's too much work. I bring this up as well here. My expectations on, don't you guys love the clickbait? Oh, disaster. But yeah, in this one here, this video, bad earnings, low expectations. It's because Wall Street also was kind of the same way. They didn't have like a mind of their own, right? They basically just went off what Palantir's guidance was. And, for good reason. They're still figuring it out here when it comes to growing that top line. And they're doing a lot of things, right? I keep repeating it, AIP boot camps, AIP cons, all of that. Very important stuff for a type of product like Palantir provides. Products, very correct myself. Now, let's look at this. Revenue, always important. We want to see everything growing. But commercial and government, and honestly, it feels like everyone flip-flops between these two. Commercial is important. It's going to be important no matter what forever in the future. And we want to see that grow fast. U.S. commercial, they love touting this because it's a faster growth rate being bogged down internationally, right? You have a 33% year-over-year growth rate for U.S. commercial revenue, but 23% though overall for commercial. So once we get that presentation, I'm not sure if they'll break it down because they don't want to show it. They'll probably just show U.S. commercial. But government revenue grew 12% year over year. Now this is combined. We don't know U.S. versus international, but yes. Yep, sorry. Government revenue. Yep. Oh, sorry, guys. Just when I look at the chat, for some reason, I can't talk at the same time with my continuous here. But let's look at these a little bit from Q. Oh, actually, sorry. This is, darn. This is more important. Let's look at this now. Customer count. So in that same video, I wanted this one here. You don't need to check it out, honestly. Now it's out of date because we're going to have new information. But 34%. I was aiming for 38%. That's status quo with last quarter's 38% year-over-year growth. And let me just show you guys that. So, customer. Let me know in the chat if you love Control Find. Oh my gosh, I should just put the whole word. There you go. Customer count, 38% year over year growth. And that's from Q2 2022 to Q2 2023. Now, I wanted 38%. That would have been about 40 something customers here. But if we're growing at 34%, yeah, they're just highlighting US commercial because it's the sexier number, but that's still below the 38%. So 34%, let's just do that quick back in the hand calculation here. What was I looking at? 337. The calculator. Yeah, 337. And I think that means they're probably around 420. You know, good number to start with. Oh, wait, what? Okay. I know I should just do it on a calculator, but 32%. Wow, see? Sometimes you can do math through trial and error, but 34%. I'm silly. Sorry, guys. You know what? Let's just do a calculator. 337 times 1.34. 451 customers. So nice to see them growing that. What I like to see, though, is consecutive growth. And what you can see here consecutively, right? 9%. So it's going down 11 to 9 to 7. And the baseline's getting higher. So it's the same thing with revenue on a quarter over quarter, but much more difficult on a consecutive quarter basis to raise this because the bar just keeps getting higher and higher if you're actually growing that. So if you have a big down year, of course it's going to be easy to grow fast, easier unless your business is dying. But yeah, let's see. 8%. Let's do the quick back into hand math here because if we were growing at 38%, that'd be plus 10.5% from 421 consecutively. Now, what did I say that was? Calculator. I should have left it open. 1.34 times 337. Now 451, that's 30 more customers than 421. So 30 divided by, 30 by 421. 7%. All right, let's see. Let's look at the chatter. What do people think? Oh, let's share that with everyone on the screen. This is great. Carp working a lot. Yeah, he's got to do that. He's the face. Yes, Ukraine, the civilians especially, but you know, on all sides, we know that it's the governments, and you know, it's unfortunate to be in that situation. I'm glad I'm in a country living a life that is very blessed and not to have to go through these kind of conflicts. No buybacks, it appears. Yeah, that makes sense. They're just accumulating cash. And Carp has been so focused this year. He wants to make us long-term holders all rich. Yeah, honestly. So if you're a first-time person, never seen Carp before, I get it, right? It's like, this is kind of the way he talks. It's not the typical things that CEOs talk about too, right? When everyone has to play both sides, maximize revenue, make China happy, things like that. Not saying every company has to, but aligning with the West, being very proactive about it. This spills over into your commercial side of business. It's important because it does technically cut your possible TAM in the world in half, or whatever countries are not aligned with the U.S. And honestly, you're not going to get every single one. Let's just be real here. But there are big customers on the other side against the West. Now, we still do business with China, everything there. Russia, you know, that's a little bit more extreme here, but I think the level of dependence on China, we all know that the world needs them. And business is going to be done with them, so we have to play nice a little bit. But we don't have to give them our defense companies. Okay, we're at 6:51 a.m. here. Customer numbers start accelerate Q4 since so many getting ARP free now and not counting account. Yes, that's the thing here. And I should have pointed this out as well. Customer count, very important. I think they have it at the bottom here. Billings is defined as revenue plus the change. What do they not have? There should be a blurb on what they count as a customer. Basically, they got to be paying them if they're going to be a customer. So free trials do not count. Let's see, partnerships, customers. There's a blurb. It must be in previous earnings there, but we'll keep an eye out for that. Let's just take a look here in the chat. Oh. Darn. I'm really sorry if this does not come out. I know I have a deadline. I have to go dog sit. And I know I wasn't going to be able to cover the earnings call itself. I'll make a video, guys. I promise. Don't worry. I love solidifying it down. It's great reference for me as well. I was just hoping I was able to do it live with you guys. But now that I know about this, and especially when my schedule allows, I'm going to like doing this for certain videos. Maybe it doesn't have to necessarily be earnings, but earnings is always great for going through live with folks. Raw reactions, right? More check. Oh, pre-market. Yes, I know you guys are loving this now, right? If it was negative 13, 14%, I don't know if people would be loving it. But today, oh yeah, we're back here. +2. And that's 13%. This is from yesterday. So we were at $14, right? This was a wild ride even within itself. The last couple weeks. That's why it was like crazy, right? I was talking about we've been in this range. And you can see it here already. The range is basically high 13s. We've touched that a few times. But we've also touched on 20. We've touched and got rejected in the 16s. But we've been breaking through at some points, hitting 18, coming back down. Oh, yeah. You guys love my technical analysis here, right? Oh, yeah. Basically scrolling on Google. But, yeah, recent time we've hit 18 and come back down. And this is not – these aren't slow movements here. This is a 6-month chart. And if you even look at the 1-month chart, now, volatility for some, I guess some really want that fast movement, but 1 month and this kind of volatility is crazy, right? And that's part of Palantir's nature right now as a company, as a stock. Their valuation relies on what people think they'll be doing in the future. And that means there's a lot of things that can go wrong and a lot of things that can go right too if, certain things play out. That's what boosts these price up much faster here. Now, maybe it's just because the ticker has a lot of volume. People like the volatility. There's an opportunity to make money. But still in that, there are people who are buying the stock because they believe in that valuation. I'd like to hope so. They understand the valuation. Now, we can't assume everyone understands that. But if you're buying a stock, most likely you know that the price of the stock doesn't matter. It's about the market cap in the end. And for Palantir, even that might not be enough. If you have SBC happening, you want to make sure that you come in at a good valuation that you're comfortable with, knowing there's going to be SBC continued, and management has said this in previous calls, that they expect to go up. This was because AIP is supposed to ramp up, and they're doing AIP boot camps, which I believe is going to, cost a pretty penny if you have someone on site. It's not as scalable as like sending an email and then everyone clicks the link and then you got access to a trial or a video of someone walking you through how to set up your AIP demo. And I think for their kind of clientele and the size of the contracts that they're trying to do, which we know is not a very cheap product. It's definitely a premium product. We can look at the customer dollars here. What am I doing? Oh, well, average of the top 20. This is big, right? If you're collecting from your top 20 customers, 53 million in a quarter, equate that to 200 in a year. That's a lot of money for even the largest enterprises because it's going to go up. It's SaaS, right? And if we look at the other kind of, here we go, deals closed, at least 1 million. This is last quarter, Q2 2023, 66 deals, 30 of which at least $5 million. And then remember, 18 of $10 million. This is under the assumption you're going to be probably paying this the rest of your life if you're going to rely on this software. Do you think it's going to go down? I don't think so. So to maintain that and see the value of Palantir, and if it's worth you $10 million per year, then they're probably bringing you a lot more in savings and in headaches or fixing headaches. That's worth it for that amount of money. Now, let's see here in the chat. What's our price today? This year, 5 years. David, I heard 3-6 months free trials. Oh, that is long. February, yeah, that's possible. Oh, thank you. Keep walking. I appreciate it. Be cool. Might have need another person, maybe. Oh, Haley. Yes, she's awesome. I like, especially, yeah, her coverage too on the UK. I know if I've mentioned her, I think, in a video or two, and I put up her video, but she also covers Palantir and Tesla. Great personality here. Obviously, I don't know her personally, guys, so don't assume like I actually know them on a personal basis. But I've watched her videos, and she aligns obviously with a lot with Palantir in regards to the NHS too. So if you're a shareholder, like it makes sense you want them to get the NHS contract. Even if you aren't a shareholder of Palantir and have some sort of understanding of at least the background of Palantir, their philosophy, and this is always going to cause some sort of like, response from people, because it comes from healthcare. The NHS is important to the country of the UK, and being able to provide care that is effective, first of all, and to actually get the care. So waiting lists, that's the big thing. You still have to wait. If Palantir is actually showing in their case studies, well, not their case, NHS England's case studies, and I've made a video on this. Now, people always question this case study itself because, NHS England conduct themselves, and then they extrapolate it. Yeah, the extrapolation can be a long shot there. But if you're able to see it in a working hospital, it's a practical tool that's making a difference, and it's working. You're getting experience from those healthcare providers. And honestly, that gives you an edge. Let's say that it should give you an edge in winning the contract, because you're actually showing value and they're not taking a gamble, or it makes the gamble less risky. Let's see here. Today's implied value. Ooh, 13%. Yeah. Live stream conversation with Haley would be really cool to see. Okay. I got to reach out to her. She's cool. I know she's in a different time zone, so definitely would have to make that work. Calls $17 strike price. 148 Michelle's open interest. Oof. Oh, actually, this might be happening. Let's refresh this first. Do they want us to watch the webcast first? Yeah, they're going to put up the webcast also. I know I'm on a time limit, guys. This was amazing. 64 people in the live stream. For those stopping in, I'm on a time crunch today. I know it's unfortunate. I wanted to cover the highlights because they usually let it out before the earnings call. And it looks like, we have our tried and true Palantir community here on a MITS account. Most likely, I'm not going to be able to cover the call itself because I do got to head out at a reasonable time. Let's say I got to get to my car by 8, and I don't park nearby, guys. If you live in Chicago, you know about the parking. And I live in an area where there's no free parking. I don't feel like paying for a garage if I can walk maybe 20 minutes. So just so you guys know here, and I'm not trying to put it down to the wire, so I might have to cut myself off in a few minutes, maybe 7:10 or something like that. But thank you, David. Yeah, now that I've done it for the first time here for live streaming, this is sick. This is sick, right? I'm able to talk to you guys live, get your feedback, able to see what you guys are interested in too. And, I talk about a lot more than what I talk about in the videos, obviously, because I like to stick to the narrative or what I think needs to be covered, because that's how I am in life. I just want to get down to business. Some people may see it as cold, even in work, but that's kind of who I am here. Oh, let's see. Is this, or are they watching the live stream? Okay, maybe I should open up my own link of that. One more refresh. Oh, yes, there we go. Sorry, guys. I'm not going to cover the call, but let's go through the highlights really quick here. I wish it came out earlier. Thanks, David. Yeah, the prep work, definitely. Prep work was at 5 a.m. or no, sorry, 3 a.m. thinking if I should do prep work. And then when I got up like too early at 5 thinking I just might as well do this, that was the prep work. But great job here. Oh, yeah, keep it up. Kindly focus on the business performance. Yes, let's do it now. This is the highlights, right? When you give a headline, this is what they want to focus on. This is from Palantir themselves. Fourth quarter consecutive GAAP profitability. That's huge. GAAP EPS 3 cents. GAAP EPS is on the record, and this matters. This is for S&P eligibility. They got it. Now, we don't know when it's going to happen, but we know that they can do it now. F-share class companies are allowed to be in. We'll just see once that news comes out or when it comes out. I wouldn't hold my breath, just so you guys know. Now let's look at the highlights here. GAAP net income, 72 million. We already know about this. Income from operations, 40 million. I like to see this. If you can make money from your business on a GAAP basis and not rely on other things like financial engineering, we saw that with the step-up basis from Japan, the Japan arm or subsidiary. That was in Q4 of 2022. But that got the ball rolling to hit this point of fourth consecutive GAAP profitability. So third here consecutive. Now, adjusted EPS, 7 cents, good. And just remember, for EPS in general, it's not something I look out for. I just care about them hitting it since S&P eligibility is on the table. But for growth companies, this is what I care about, revenue. We've covered this, 17% year over year, 558 million. They beat guidance. It was 553, I believe, to 557. They topped this. Awesome. Sandbagging, but they didn't necessarily knock it out of the park, which is fine. Commercial revenue, and I can't wait to see their presentation on the breakdown, but essentially we have it. They grew 23% overall commercial revenue. That's nice to see. Revenue for the U.S., they want to highlight 33%, meaning that internationally this is still needs to pick this. This hasn't picked up yet, but it's important that it's still growing. And this creates a baseline that's higher and higher. So if they can continue growing U.S. commercial at 33%, now 33% from previous to get to 116 is one thing. Now, if you want to grow 33% next year for this particular quarter, you got to do 33% now on 116. Then moving to government, slowdown here. This has been a concern for some folks. There is more instability in the world. Let's be honest here. If you've been paying attention to the news, we know about Israel and Hamas. That came out of nowhere. Unfortunate civilians on both sides there. But government revenue can be driven by these kinds of events. Escalation by China, South China Sea. I'm Filipino, been to the Philippines. There's escalations there as well. And strategically, the Philippines is a thorn for the Chinese government and for the Navy in that area. Now, Taiwan is there. They want to get Taiwan at some point, but we'll see how this affects government revenue going forward. Now, customer count, this is important. 34%. Still a nice number. 30%, if you can compound that, that's going to be big because the baseline gets bigger. Now, I wanted them to stay aligned to 38%. I was thinking the bar is much lower. I'm not knocking them for this though. 34%, still good. U.S. commercial count grew 37%. So we know that commercial customers in the United States, they're getting the most customers from. Now, I'm assuming this customer count is also inclusive of international government, commercial government, and then U.S. government. So that means with them over the bar here driving it, that means those are below 34%. And this specifically went from 132 customers in this category to 181. Now, adjusted income from operations, 163 million, fourth consecutive quarter of expanding adjusted operating margins. Basically you're just taking out the adjustments here. But since they already hit it on a GAAP basis, that's obviously a higher highlight. Cash from operations, 133 million. Great. Love this. Keep it positive. They stay alive. Flexibility. What you do with the cash is more important, but if it's coming in, that's great. Your business actually works. Adjusted free cash flow, of course, a little bit higher here after their adjustments. And treasuries, their cash balance sitting at $3.3 billion. Awesome work. Palantir, the biggest thing here, let's just go. Fourth quarter GAAP profitability, 17%, which is an inflection of the year-over-year growth of revenue from 13% last quarter. So that's big. Customer count is growing, not as fast as I thought, but it is growing, and that's great. And, we'll see how this picks up because of trials, I believe I saw 3 to 6 months. Very important. When you're a paying customer, that's when you're counted. So they will take this into account. Let's go to the Q3 trailing 12-month highlights. Revenue 2.1. Yeah, this is for comparison purposes. We'll skip over this, but if you want the trailing 12 months, that's fine. But we covered the Q3 itself. Now let's look at the different summaries that they give here, and these are important. So we have that 558 million revenue, so that top line beat, 17% year-over-year growth. Outlook. Let's look at this first. Outlook, $599 to $603. Okay, everybody, let's remember this number here, $599 to $603. And let's keep that calculator open. And then we're comparing it to Q4 2022. This is where I want to see the quarterly year-over-year growth. Okay, revenue. 509 total. This is great. Now let's see. They said, too many tabs open. Let's close some of these. Oh, actually, sorry, pre-market. Let's look at this really quick. 1684, still sustaining. Yeah, it looks like someone knew about these results a lot earlier. But let's look at this. 599 low end guidance. 599. Oh, actually, 17%. So that's a sustain of the 17% revenue growth. Now, this is better than what we got last quarter, I would say, because now we have proof that they reached 17%. It's not the most amazing thing where they're hitting up even higher growth rates. But remember that baseline, guys. The baseline makes a difference here, percentages, as it accumulates. But 17% is not bad. We're definitely on the way to that above 20%. But like I said, that means the quarter after of Q1 2024 is going to be compared against Q1 2023. And that means to hit 17% again is going to be harder, and to hit 20%, that's going to be harder. So we have to see if AIP is working and driving that. But yeah, I don't hate that. I don't hate that. 600 million a quarter. Well, let's just see if they hit that top end as well. 18%. That is nice. Now let's say they beat that like they did this quarter, right? Let's just say they do it again, 1 million extra. That's going to put them in 18.5% healthily. So this would be very cool if they hit this way. They're guiding, and we know Palantir, they don't miss guidance. Now, it's important to set realistic expectations. So you don't want to just raise your stock because you have awesome guidance, because you actually have to reach that. GAAP net income, yeah, that's all I care about. Now, full year, 2.2. Oh, this is great. They raised guidance. I talked about this. So 2.212 in excess was what they guided for full year 2023 back in Q2 earnings. Q3 now they've raised it. So they've capped it, of course, but 2.212 versus 2.220. And then this is the base, the bottom number here is higher now. So they've raised guidance. That is what happens. Now they're raising their adjusted income from average guidance between 607 to 611. That's great. Just seeing it raise up. And then continue GAAP net income each quarter of this year. Yeah. They've set the bar already. Why not? Why miss it at this point? So, oh my gosh, we're at 710 here, guys, but I'm going to keep going for this. Additional definitions. Let's see. Okay, let me just double check I didn't miss anything important. Okay, highlights. Guidance. CEO letter. Oh, wait, let me see this. Darn. That's okay. We got the webcast, and then you guys should be tuning in. I know that I'm not covering the call. They're going through the presentation. I'm going to put this in my video later on in the day. Gives me more time to digest, of course, and consolidate the kind of information. So check out this live. I know I got to listen to the call myself too, so that's going to be part of it. This might be one of my longer videos, but I'm just so happy that you guys are tuning in here. But let's just look a little bit through the financial statements that are on here. And let me just do a quick refresh. Yeah, what the heck? Well, I'll wait for this to come out. It's probably going to be, I guess, after the earnings call. So balance sheet, great. It's a picture. It's a picture that's important because it shows the health of your company. Oh, oops. No, first thing they put is the statement of operations. Sorry, guys. I just like going in the order of that. But revenue here, we can see the comparisons. Now, 9 months ended. This is the trailing, last 3 months. Sorry, trailing 3 quarters. But we're growing as a company. Now, the speed of growth, that's the biggest factor in terms of valuation. According to the pre-market, they're okay with this. So That's cool to see. The biggest thing to see here, though, look at this. This is beautiful. This is beautiful, guys. Look at all this extra revenue that they grew, and then look at that cost of revenue. Did you know that Palantir is a scalable business? Oh, last 3 quarters, 22 million more, yet you're bringing in almost 219 million more in revenue. I wonder if Palantir is scalable. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic, so you guys should know that. Oh, I see that your message here, Todd, about Chris. Chris is a solid guy. Just gonna say, Palantir, it's very divisive. There's a story to it. Obviously, you guys know where I stand on Palantir and my coverage of it, dedicating a channel to this. Like, you already know where I'm at. But everyone's got their own opinions on that. Now, here is the interesting part to operating expenses in a scalable business. Do you need to keep raising this in order to drive business, or do you not need to? Look at this, 182 down, driving more business. What does that mean? Well, it could mean that they're very effective now in their sales and marketing. That is possible, right? Or maybe the cost didn't hit Palantir yet. And maybe this can be an issue later on where we'll see raising sales and marketing. But with all the sales and marketing, the videos on their YouTube channel, the different PRs, I'm not sure how much cost actually goes into that. But AIP bootcamps, I believe, falls under sales and marketing. And either way, if we fall under the other expenses here for operations, look, 5 million more in research and development from quarter to quarter, less, 20 million less for G&A. And they're raising revenue from this. Palantir is a scalable business. Now, this is always great to see. Now, we know the baseline was much lower back then. They make money. That's all we need to know. And, an extra bonus, they got the cash. Like I said, I've talked about this, and everyone has an opinion on what should a growth company do with their cash. Interest right now, it's if you're putting it into treasuries, you're getting guaranteed rate. Well, depending on your time frame, right? The value of those can go down, especially if it's a long-term time frame, interest rates change. But if you're just parking cash, why not take the free? Well, it's free in the way that it's guaranteed, but it means that you're foregoing opportunities. But either way, look at this interest income, $88 million alone in the last 9 months. So obviously it's not going to push your valuations to the roof, but it just shows that if they got the money, it doesn't have to just sit there doing nothing. They can do something with it, and they're being prudent as shareholders. Prudent with management, I believe, doing this. I just like the flexibility of having a huge cash pile and positive operational cash flow. Going on here, this is where we flow to the net income. Great, and these are the per share, and then also the amount of share. So we know that this is going up. Now, this includes stock-based compensation expenses here when you add this. Now, leveling, and I'll probably cover this too in my video here, but at least on a quarter basis here, we see this is what people are going to see. Decrease. And I'm going to I have that picture up open, ready just for this moment. You guys love this graphic here. We should see this percentage go down. Revenue is going up. Even if stock-based compensation stays the same, percentage, that ratio will go down. And that's what you want to see. Yes. Now, I love balance sheets, guys. Am I a nerd? Sure. Whatever. Balance sheets, picture health of your company. Now, oh my God, their cash went down. Some people may not understand, right? And if you're learning about this, great. This is the best way. Practical examples, thinking it through. Oh no, they have no cash. Well, duh, because it's sitting in their marketable securities, treasuries. So their cash equivalents are huge, or total current cash, $3.8 billion sitting there. So no matter what, you could say Palantir is going to be worth what, $2-3 a share just in cash. Obviously, we don't want that. This is not really cash here. Prepaid expenses, that's fine. But accounts receivable as well. But the cash itself, this is what's owed to them. So this is growing. And this is a sign of a growing business as well, accounts receivable. People owe you money when they buy your services. Businesses don't pay you on the spot like, say, a register at a fast food restaurant. They have invoices, net 30, things of that nature here. So if you have growing accounts receivables, as long as you can collect them, meaning that your customers are healthy and actually pay you in the end. This is great because there's going to be some loss, obviously, but this is growing. This is a nice telltale sign of growth. Now, let's see here. Yeah, healthy balance sheet, nothing red flag here. Accounts payable, that's fine. Liabilities, deferred revenue, that's fine. This is great. Seeing deferred revenue and customer deposits growing up, another sign of growing business. Yeah, no real current debt. I have to double check what these accrued liabilities are. But either way, it's insignificant. Total current assets of $3.8 billion versus $700 million in current liabilities. Yeah, negligible. And even if you take the long term here, so these are customer deposits, deferred revenue, the lease. So yeah, that's going to be their biggest thing, I guess, because it's probably expensive to have a whole office building. But the ratio here, it's obvious, right? Total assets of $4.1 billion. This includes the non kind of liquid stuff, but yeah, 4-to-1, healthy, no complaints. Now, statements of cash flow. What I'm going to do first is skip the operations and go back up. But first, you just need to see that this is positive. Great. Oh, sorry, I didn't skip it. I'll go back up to the details. But investing activities here. So this is used for investment purposes, aka buying treasuries, and then selling treasuries because they do short term. So this is fine, being negative. It still sits on their balance sheet. And now their financing activities. This is like if you're taking out debt or selling stock. And yes, they do raise cash from the exercise of stock options. Oh my God, $170 million. No, I don't think that's bad at all. I think I was trying to be sarcastic, but I know you guys might pick up on that. Sorry about that. But let's go back up to operations. This is what I love, bread and butter, right? This is what we want to see. Decrease. Depreciation and amortization, that's a non-cash expense. Doesn't matter. It's negligible. Let's look at the big numbers. Accounts receivable, yes. That's fine. So they're not receiving, negative cash. Spending the product before they get paid. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, no red flags here, honestly. Healthy. The reason here, though, why it's that high, obviously. But since they have net income, they actually make money. This is big. Let's see. Non-GAAP reconciliation. This is on the adjusted basis. I know these were the big lines and the call is going on. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Yeah, they're still talking this through, and I need to review that. Sorry, guys. But I think this is it. Thank you all for stopping by. You guys are awesome. Please watch the other stream if you're going to cover the call, because I do have personal things I got to take care of, and I'm on stream much longer than I thought I would be, 7:20. I got to head out soon, but thank you all for watching. Look out for my video that's going to be consolidated, concentrating on the metrics that I care about. And you already have previews to my previous videos on what I'm probably going to cover, but I will be going through that. But thank you all for stopping by. You guys are awesome. And I'll see you in the next one. I think I'm going to be live streaming in the future. Thank you.